Hello, hello. Hi, beautiful people. I hope that your day has been amazing. I am particularly excited because today is my birthday. And I thought, what better way for me to celebrate it than to go live, to talk to people, and to check in with you. So I'm so excited. Today's been a great day. Phone calls, gifts, lunch, all the things. So happy birthday to me. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, my name is Chanel Diane, and I love to talk about empowerment. I love to see people reach their full potential, to feel good about themselves, to feel confident and to accomplish whatever goals they set out. So I come on here to drop some nuggets, to share things that have been given to me that have transformed my life, with the goal that it will also transform yours. So if you want to hear more about that, feel free to click the link below to subscribe. And guess what? I have an ebook coming out. I'm so excited. I worked hard on it. I made sure I got it edited for grammar errors. So hopefully there won't be any of those. And I cannot wait to share that with you all. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. It's coming soon. And it is similar to what we're going to be talking about today. So the title is Validating Yourself Brings Healing. That's the title of today's live. If you want a deeper dive into that, then you will have the opportunity to get my ebook where I talk about it more in depth and give you some practical ways to apply it to your life. So keep on the lookout for that. All right, so let me just jump right into the topic. Validating you. What does it mean to validate yourself? Well, today I want to specifically talk about validating your feelings and your emotions. So, a lot of times I will run across clients who talk about feeling invalidated, feeling like their thoughts aren't being respected, or they aren't able to express themselves. Their significant other doesn't care about what they have to say, or they shoot it down, all of that sort of thing. And one of the main things that I see is that the individual, they haven't learned how to validate themselves. They haven't learned to say that it's okay to feel what I'm feeling, and also to even recognize how they're feeling. So, to that point, if you can't recognize how you're feeling, if you can't say that your feelings are okay, then how can somebody else do that? How can we expect our partners, our families, our loved ones to kind of console us, if you will, if we're not willing to give that to ourselves? So I think about this analogy. Think about someone that broke a toe, right? They broke their toe, which is something that I actually did in middle school. Anyways, so think about someone that broke their toe. Um, I'm a great example. And if any of this resonates with you, or you could think of an example where you did the same, let me know. I definitely want to see what y'all have to say. So in middle school, I broke my toe. Well, at that time, I did not want anybody to see me cry. I did not like expressing pain, discomfort. To me, all of that meant that I was showing weakness. So I tried my best to hide the pain, to not cry, to just be this strong individual. Well, one thing I learned is that how will anybody know that I'm in pain if I don't show it? How will anybody know that I'm in pain if I myself have not identified where the pain is? So if I'm walking around with this broken toe, which y'all, I really broke this toe, it was painful. But I'm acting like the toe is okay, or I'm okay, then it's like people, they can know conceptually that you broke a toe, it should mean this. but they're more likely to go by what I tell them and what I show them, which in that instance, I was trying to communicate that it wasn't that bad. Lies I tell because it was extremely painful. So, yes, people could take an x ray and they could see, okay, I can see that the toe is broken, but the sympathy that I might have needed at that time, people don't really know how to give it or if they should because I'm acting as if I don't need it. That is how it is to validate your feelings. I used to be someone that would make myself feel bad, would try to push away my emotions and would always want to be happy or put on a facade like I was always happy. But I wanted people to see my pain. I wanted people to rescue me in a sense. But how can they do that if I haven't even allowed myself to be in a position to be rescued? So, this is why it's important to validate yourself, to sit with yourself, to acknowledge what you're feeling, why you're feeling that way, to tell yourself that it's okay that I'm feeling that way, because it then encourages other people to respond to what you're showing, what you presented. So, this is what happens a lot of the time. We think that we're expressing ourselves when we complain or when we kind of nag or we say, well, how many times do I have to tell you to do dot, 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 dot? When in all actuality, there's a deeper message underneath that we're not saying. So you're always out with your friends, you're hardly at home. What am I really saying there? What I'm really saying is that I miss you. I want to spend time with you. I'm feeling like we're not as close as we used to be. But I have to recognize that I'm missing my person. I have to recognize that I want to feel closer to them so that I can then communicate that message versus what I'm easily going to that they're kind of dismissing because it sounds like nagging or complaining. So, this is what it means to validate your feelings. And it's so vital. It's so important. It's so healthy. It's so necessary. So I want to encourage you to do the same. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this, and I would love to answer them. And feel free to hit me up on the side if there's something that you want to talk about that you don't want the masses to see. I'm here for it. Okay. So, one question that I get a lot is what if I don't know how I feel? That's a good question. So, what if you don't know how you feel? A good first step is to learn about feelings. It sounds very simple, it sounds very elementary. This is something that has transformed my life because I work with children as a therapist, like in my early years of therapy. And I used to have to research feelings and what they look like and, how people act so that I could then teach it. And in that, I learned a lot about feelings and emotions, and I was able to recognize my own. So, I'm encouraging you to do the same. One place you can start that I think is actually like a really fun way to learn about these things is watching the movie Inside Out. Watching that movie, they go through our basic human emotions and what they look like, how they feel, how they manifest, all of the things. So, watch that movie and kind of take note of fear and anger and happiness, or they call it joy and sadness, all of that, and see what resonates with you. Then start to play a little game with yourself where you're asking yourself, how do I feel? You have a picture now. What are you showing that describes that feeling? So that's one thing you can do. Watch the movie Inside Out because it's fun. And it has so many great messages about feelings and embracing them and the benefits of them. Another thing you can do is take inventory of your thoughts. Ask yourself, what are my thoughts? What am I thinking right now? And then ask yourself, what feeling is typically associated with what I'm thinking? So let's say my mind comes up, a thought pops in my head. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Well, if I were to slow down and kind of think a little bit, what feeling typically goes with that thought pattern? I would say fear. Fear. Okay, so now I know that what I'm thinking, and I know that it is fear. Now, let's say that this is still a challenge for you. Then, one thing that I would say is if someone were to observe you, they were to hear what you're thinking, what feeling would they attach to what you're thinking and what you're showing? Because that can also tell you how you're feeling. A lot of the times we have to kind of take a step back, take a step back from ourselves, put ourselves in someone else's shoes because we're able to see ourselves differently versus being stuck in the middle of whatever it is. So, those can be some things that are helpful to help you understand or know how you feel. Okay, another question. Mm, okay, what do I do if no one else acknowledges your feelings? Okay, what do you do if no one else acknowledges your feelings? Well, one thing I would say is to kind of give it time, if that makes sense. So, if you've been in a pattern where you haven't been validating your own feelings, where you shame yourself for feeling what we would call negative emotions and you don't want to show weakness, then you have more than likely trained other people to not recognize your feelings, not recognize your emotions. So now you have to train them to recognize it, to acknowledge it. In order for you to do that, you have to really own how you're feeling and what you need to then show them that it matters to you first. It has to matter to you first. Once it matters to you, then it teaches them that they need to care more. Now, let's say you do that. You own your feelings, you acknowledge them, it clearly matters to you, and you've expressed that. You show it with how you take care of yourself, and the person still doesn't care. Then I would encourage you to kind of take a step back and ask yourself, am I safe with this person? Right? Because we have to look at their qualities, their characteristics. Can they like learn something new? Or are they just kind of stuck where they are? And if you notice that they're stuck where they are and you're not safe, then you might want to reevaluate that relationship and decide whether or not you want to stay in it. So that's how I would answer that question. Okay, and then I have one other question that I get that I want to share. What do I do if my feelings are irrational? Okay, this is a good one. So, what do you do if you feel like your feelings are irrational? You got to evaluate that. You have to really evaluate it and not just take off with it's irrational because that might be the coping mechanism that you are used to falling into. That might lead you back into the invalidating your feelings. So you got to really evaluate it. Ask yourself, who told me that what I'm feeling is irrational? Where does that thought come from, right? Where does it come from? And then ask yourself, if this were a friend that was expressing this to me, feeling this way, would I tell them that it's irrational or would I validate them? Excuse me. Oh, there was no water in this. Would I validate their feelings or would I tell them that you're thinking wrong? Or not wrong, but like, let's look at it a different way, right? So Why do we do that? Because once again, we can see things in other people better than we can see it in ourselves. If this is something that you would give a friend compassion for, please give it to yourself. Give yourself compassion. You probably aren't thinking it rationally. But if this is something where like there literally is another healthier perspective that someone has not considered, that they may not consider, then you might need to reevaluate how you're feeling with that particular situation and see if there's another side that you're not considering. So, those are two things. Remind yourself that how you feel is important. No one can tell you how to feel. You can recognize how you're feeling better than someone else can once you really tap in and allow yourself to learn you. And this is empowering. This brings self confidence, self trust. And this is what allows us to deepen our communication with other people, to stand up for ourselves, to express ourselves, and to show up as our authentic self. So, this is vital. This is important. I encourage you to do it. You have the power to do it. You have the power to be you, to show up as you. So go for it. Okay. So thus those are the notes that I have for you all. Do you have any questions? Okay. If you have questions that I did not get to, feel free to comment. I'm going to upload this video later, so feel free to ask the questions, comment. Hey, girl. Hey, good to see you. I don't know why I'm like looking like I can, I'm just looking at the name. Anyways, but yeah, so feel free to comment. Let me know what you're thinking and be on the lookout for this ebook. I'm excited to share it with you. The title is Finding Your Voice. Finding Your Voice. And there are a couple more things attached. I don't want to spoil it all. So we'll wait and then we'll get into it. Okay, well, take care. Make sure you subscribe. Share this with somebody that you feel like needs the encouragement. And I cannot wait to see you again. Bye.